You know, sometimes I sit here and I hear stories, I look at the world and go, what happened? We used to have the Scholastic Weekly Reader. Remember that? We're in elementary school. And they'd have cool little stories, and you could order a book or two. And now Scholastic's gone who knows where. Kirk Cameron announcing a partnership with a new alternative to the Scholastic book fairs that are promoting a pile of sexually explicit content to kids these days. Skytree book fairs will only offer students books that remain family-friendly and, more importantly, age-appropriate. Gee, what a concept. For many years, Scholastic has been championed by educators as a trusted publisher of children's content. I know, that's what I'm talking about. It's a weekly reader and all that stuff. Cameron says this should no longer be the case because Scholastic is pushing sexualized and gender-confusing content for minors in schools and libraries. Some assume that because Scholastic is a world-renowned children's publisher, the books would be appropriate. That just doesn't seem to be the case. It seems that they prioritize LGBTQ plus themed books, including those that have obscene, sexually graphic content. Skytree Book Fair is formed by a group of concerned parents who are troubled by the books being offered in their schools for their kids. Kirk Cameron is an advisory board member and the organization's first spokesperson. He's joined me now to tell us more about this new project. Kirk, good to have you here.
Thanks a lot. Great to be here. Thanks for letting me talk a little bit about this. Many of us watch the YouTube videos of the moms who are at the school board meeting holding up the book that's explaining what their kids are being shown in their libraries, and then the police officer shuts them down or the board mutes the mic. And many of us are asking the question, who's publishing these books? Who's putting these things into the libraries in the first place? Let's go after the head of the snake. And we did a little digging and found out that there is, in fact, a wolf in sheep's clothing. And its name is Scholastic. This is the company, as you said, we all grew up with. They've been around for over 100 years. They're the world's largest producer and distributor of children's books. And they're lacing the pages with obscene content, sexually graphic content. And I didn't believe it until I got a hold of the books, read them with my own eyes, and discovered that you have full sex acts, nudity, breast removal, transition scars that are all being depicted by underage minors drinking, all hiding this from their parents. And it's being marketed to 2nd through 6th graders. As well as
and actually normalizing it, Kirk. That's what's really shocking.
Right.
They're normalizing this behavior. You know, as a minor, you can't get a tattoo because you can't enter into a contract for such a thing you can't get your ears pierced, unless you have parental permission. But hey, we can talk about things that you can't talk about in front of the school board without them saying, whoa, you're way out of. This is what they're putting into kids' hands far too often, right?
Yeah, and we've become professional whiners and complainers about these kinds of things. And we could go on and on. There's laws that say they have to have seatbelts in the car, but yet there's laws that will actually restrain you as a parent if you try to stop your son from becoming a little girl on your tax dollars with hormone replacement therapies. And we can just sit here and curse the darkness and those who are creating the culture, all the while we're missing the elephant in the room. And that is, wait a minute, who's supposed to be creating the culture? We are, the family of faith, those who love God, who love the family, and are grateful for this nation. And when we are apathetic or complacent, or we just become professional whiners, we create a vacuum, and others with lesser values come in, and they occupy the positions of leadership. So what do? Be a mom, be a dad, raise children, love your spouse, nourish your little ones, and raise up a generation who will love and honor God, who will create the culture, who will educate their children, not outsource their parenting to government institutions that brainwash them for 7 hours a day to become lemmings of the state. I know I'm saying a lot here, but there is a window of opportunity that I think we have in this country, and we better do all that we can, or we will learn our lessons the hard way.
Well, I think we already are learning our lessons the hard way. I've got pages and pages of detransitioning teens suing hospitals for misleading them, not giving them full disclosure. These things are happening. It's a tragedy. They're led down this path because they didn't tell their parents. They aren't involved with this sort of thing. And whether it's TikTok or social media or the books from Scholastic, it's all reinforcing this nonsense and this garbage inside. Well, let's be honest. Hormone-induced children, when they're 12, 14, 16 years old, they're already, a bundle of hormones. and we're introducing all this garbage into their head. And you go back to the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. Well, we get what we've put in, don't we?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And so now that we've diagnosed the disease and we see that it is ubiquitous, it's pandemic throughout our country, what are we going to do? What's the diagnosis? What's the cure, the solution? And so that's what I'm trying to do, is to say, I don't think it's going to come in the form of a pill or a politician. It's not going to come by worshiping the flag or the Constitution. All these things are important symbols. But at the end of the day, it's the power of God working in the hearts of moms and dads. And much of it comes back to parenting. And as parents, we want what's best for our kids. We just need help. We need community. We need prayer. We need to get back to first principles. And that's why I'm trying to encourage parents and equip them with things like books that they can read to their kids. Every kid loves stories. Just don't let men who dress in fishnet stockings and heels read the stories to your kids. You read them, Dad. You read them, Mom, and teach them about love and goodness, truth and beauty.
Yeah, it's a fine point you make, Kurt. All right, so tell the fine folks that are listening right now, how do they find out about what you're doing, where there will be book fairs and places they can get age-appropriate content, appropriate books for their kids, their grandkids. They can be gifts. I mean, we're in the Christmas season here. You can make the perfect gift for the kid because, look, reading is important. My mother spent her life after she retired as a fifth grade teacher doing literacy, helping the kids read. So reading is fundamental. I believe that, but they have to read the right things and not poison their minds. Where can they find out more?
Yeah. Well, in America, the primary textbook in schools for every child for 2 centuries was this book right here, which is the Scriptures. And if we want to teach our children good values, let's start there and then tell them stories that ignite their imaginations and encourage their curiosity. You could find many of those at bravebooks.com. Go to bravebooks.com. You can get my book for free. And you can also join a Book of the Month club that'll send a new book with a pro-God, pro-America value to your front door every month for your kids. It's an investment in their faith and in their integrity and in the future of this nation. Just go to bravebooks.com.
Bravebooks.com. Kurt Cameron, I tip my hat to you for doing what must get you all sorts of excitable emails in your inbox, which is fine. You have to take the slings and arrows. Yeah, I'm sure it's colorful, to say the least. Kurt, I do appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
Well, I appreciate you, and God bless you.
God bless you, my friend. All right. Coming up after the break, Michigan House Republicans proposed a package to stop taxpayer money from funding child slave labor for solar panels and electric vehicle battery parts. What do you think happened? We'll have that story next on AVL.